Do you have a partner or maybe a parent who you believe is being totally taken over by the conspiracy theorists? Usually, when I see this kind of thing in my office, it happens between couples, and I'm seeing a lot more of it, especially now with the advent of the COVID-19 vaccines. One partner wants to get it, and the other one forbids them. Or maybe adult children who are grown and already dating someone else, and they decide, I'm going to get this vaccine, but their parents are totally part of the conspiracy theory that this is going to hurt them. Now, let me get clear. Talking to people who are under the influence of a conspiracy theorist, or they believe that Bill Gates is basically, getting information from the COVID vaccine to kind of take over on you, or they believe things like, 5G is a big part of the secret service or the FBI. I've heard all kinds of conspiracies. And it's unfortunate because when people start putting out information that is untrue and they repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, as has been done, it gets very confusing. And a lot of people, what I see happening, I don't like, is they're basically calling these people idiots or ridiculous. And you never handle a conspiracy theory or anything like that by telling the person how stupid they are, how ridiculous, or whatever. So if someone you love is basically part of this conspiracy theory and they believe all these insane things, including political suggestions too, that Biden is eating babies or that Hillary Clinton has a sex ring or whatever. I mean, I personally am not a political person, and I'm pretty much, I take facts and I listen to both sides. So I don't want this to be a political video of any kind. Although some of this conspiracy theory seems to be rooted in politics, especially when couples are talking in my office. For the sake of this video, what I want to do is encourage you and help you to bring the relationship together no matter what. I'm a big believer in the relationships, the health of the relationship. And if someone you love is a conspiracy theorist and they're making it difficult for you to take care of yourself with getting the vaccine so that you won't get sick, that becomes a big problem. And it starts rotting the not only the information you're hearing or what you're listening to, but it starts making you feel less and less likely to be close to this person because you start making all kinds of other assumptions based on this person's belief. In a way, we all have some conspiracy theory, likelihood. I mean, our brains are wired to see patterns, and conspiracy theory is basically based on what you hear. You hear things and you start seeing things, you start looking for patterns. This is all basic hardwire into our brain. But there are ways that you can prevent it from happening. And as experts in research have told us, some of the ways include these. Of course, it's not all these ways, but some of them do include this. Okay, so one thing you can do is if you have a degree of higher education in the university, you're less likely to be a conspiracy theorist. Secondly, if you're socially connected, it seems like conspiracies really go wild when it's a loner or a person who is on their own. And many of times these people are on their own and they're loners because they feel marginalized by society and others. And that's another culprit in what lies underneath a person who gets into one of these conspiracy theories. And lastly, having self-awareness and confidence, because when you have confidence and self-awareness, you understand there's all different kinds of perspectives. You're less likely to hear a fact or somebody's somebody's version of a fact and continually repeat it without looking for more evidence. Conspiracy theories are not based on evidence. They're based on information that started, and it's like an overload. So I'm going to go through now and talk to you. And I do want to caution you. You know, a lot of times I hear people saying, well, they're just stupid. They're not educated. That's, you know, I know a lot of physicians. I work in a medical center. My husband is a physician. I know a lot of physicians who will repeat silly conspiracy theorists. And I'm not so swept up in the idea that only uneducated people are doing this. I know there's other people too. And I know there's conspiracy theorists who are actually very manipulative. And no matter what kind you're dealing with, if it's a manipulative one, then I would suggest you watch my video about toxic behaviors and brainwashing, because those really are seriously, they're planned out and they are manipulative. But I'm talking about more if you're married to someone who is under the influence of a conspiracy theory and you don't want to estrange yourself from that relationship. You want to encourage a discussion so that you can actually keep the relationship alive and strong despite each of your beliefs. Okay, so the first thing is you're going to have patience, and you're going to have to constantly somehow calm yourself down so that you can step back when you need to, so you don't continually get inundated with it, because it will cause high stress for you and it will cause anxiety, and that is not going to lead to a healthy relationship. So a first step really is not making it a debate, but actually introducing the space or the idea of a discussion with them. That a discussion is when you both get to talk and you both get to listen, and there's no one person trying to win or trying to show the other person what an idiot they are, because the ending to conspiracy theorists is not because you convinced a person. And this is very important. It's because they convince themselves. In fact, they are the ones who determine when they will exit this line of thinking. And we'll talk a little bit about that toward the end. The second step is learning the virtue of being quiet and listening. And most of us in a relationship, we want to talk. But when you're trying to form a relationship or keep a relationship, an intimate connection with someone who is under the influence of a conspiracy theory, you want to listen to them. You want to hear them out, because sometimes you'll hear leads of other information that you actually can understand and maybe rethink how you will discuss this in the future. You always want to show them respect. No matter what, you don't want to insult them or degrade them. There is no place for that in a healthy relationship. And no one enjoys being perceived as foolish or silly. And that is not a sign of respect. So keep those types of words and behaviors away from what you're trying to connect with this person. I think it's important that you understand that with that base of respect, you can go a lot further and you can get more intimate into what the person is thinking and what they're saying and what your response should do. So yes, always prioritize the relationship. And what that means is the relationship is more important than either one of your points of view. Yes, if they keep bringing up a grand theory, you want to remind them that this is not where you're going. You don't really need to listen to this. Maybe you can take this up at another time. And some people find it helpful, and I've encouraged this in my office, when you're too heated, when you can't discuss, like they're not listening to you, they just put up their hand and go, you don't understand. It's okay to walk away. Just say, but be respectful about it. Just say, I've got this and this that I've got to complete today. I'm really glad I got to see you. You mean a lot to me. Reiterate those things. And if it's a husband or wife, just say, I need to take a little break, and I love you, or something like that, so they know that you're still there with them, that you still love them, that this is not a line in the sand, and that's very important. I think what's really ultimately important is that they know that you are there for them. And I say that because many times when these people exit their line of thought or the conspiracy, and I'm seeing more of that now because we have a new president and some of the media hype has died down. So now we're seeing, in my office, I'm seeing more of where the person is done or making a break in the conspiracy, and they feel bad. They kind of feel sheepish, many of them. And what you don't want to do is lord it over them or shame them. Well, I told you you were being ridiculous, because that will lock them or shut them down where they are. And they may never say anything to you, but that doesn't mean they're not feeling shame. This is a tough topic. And I encourage all of you, if you have comments or whatever you need to say about this topic, about how you were able to get through it without estranging yourself or leaving the relationship, that's going to be helpful to all the other viewers of this video. Because in a healthy relationship, you're going to go through things like this. And in a way, I feel badly, because if you look back at the show, it's a TV shows and a lot of other things, they'll make these secretive lures, I call them, of underpinnings, of things that are happening underneath. Most of life is pretty simple, and have to be really conniving and manipulative to start some of these conspiracies, if you really were to think about it. And when we show that on TV or we glamorize it, it makes it more likely for people who feel marginalized or left out of a population to hang on to those ideas or those contexts as a way. See, I told you this happened in this show and this is true here. I also want to remind you that a lot of this conspiracy theory came about because people were angry. They felt mistrust. They felt alone. They felt unnoticed. And so once again, it goes back to, what are you putting out? What are you showing people you love? Are you noticing people? Are you trying to be compassionate and think? Are you seeing different perspectives? Are you being too harsh? All of these things are really good questions and reflections to consider as we go forward. But if the person you love is coming out of a conspiracy theory thinking, I want you to open that space, to give them a platform, to allow them to talk about it and let them know that this can happen to anyone, that doesn't mean they're flawed. It just means that it happened to them. And just like it happened, they can come out, and it's a safe place with you to come out.